long before weapons could reach the sky, when the world belonged to creatures larger than nightmares. Kira's clan lived beneath towering cliffs where safety felt possible. Their home was a network of caves carved into red stone, protected from ground predators, but exposed to something far more terrifying: the hunting grounds of the giant eagle.
The morning started like any other. Kira helped her mother, Naya, gather berries while her father Torvin sharpened stones by the fire. Her little brother Jorik, only 7 winters old, played with carved bone toys near the cave mouth. The sun painted everything golden, and for a moment, life felt peaceful.
Then came the shadow. Kira looked up to see something impossible. Wings spanning wider than their entire cave, blocking out the sun. The giant eagle circled overhead, its massive talons gleaming like spears, eyes scanning for prey. This wasn't the first time they'd seen it, but today felt different. Today, it was hunting. "Everyone in sight," Torvin shouted. But it was too late. The eagle dove with terrifying speed. Kira watched in horror as those enormous talons wrapped around Jorik, lifting him into the air like he weighed nothing. Her brother's screams echoed off the cliff walls as the giant bird carried him toward its nest high above. Naya collapsed, sobbing. Torvin grabbed his spear. But what good was a pointed stick against something that ruled the sky? Kira felt rage and determination burning in her chest. "We're getting him back," she declared, voice steady despite her fear. The family spent the day planning. The eagle's nest sat on an impossible ledge, hundreds of feet up the cliff face. Direct climbing was suicide. But Kira remembered something. The old mammoth trails that wound behind the cliffs, leading to higher ground. At dawn, they began their desperate journey. Torvin carried fire and his best spears. Naya brought ropes woven from animal hide. Kira took her sling and a pouch full of sharp stones. They would either save Jorik or die trying. The mammoth trail was treacherous. Narrow paths carved by giants who treated mountains like hills. As they climbed, they heard it, the thunderous trumpeting of a mammoth herd moving through the valley below. These ancient giants, covered in thick hair and armed with curved tusks longer than trees, were migrating south. Halfway up the trail, disaster struck. A massive wild boar, startled by their presence, charged from the bushes. Its tusks were deadly spears, its body a mountain of muscle and fury. Torvin thrust his spear, but the boar knocked him down, tusks ripping through his leg. Kira acted on pure instinct. She grabbed a burning branch and drove it into the boar's face. The beast squealed and retreated, but Torvin was badly hurt, blood pooling beneath his torn leg. "Go," he gasped. "Save Jorik. I'll slow you down." Naya refused to leave her husband. "Take this." She pressed the rope into Kira's hands. "Bring our boy home. Alone now." Kira continued climbing. The path grew narrower, more dangerous. One wrong step meant death on the rocks below. But with each step, she could hear Jorik's faint cries from somewhere above. Finally, she reached the level of the eagle's nest. The giant eagle was there, feeding Jorik small pieces of meat, keeping him alive for later. The bird was even more massive up close. Its head alone was the size of a grown man, beak sharp enough to split stone. Kira waited, hidden behind rocks, studying the creature's patterns. The eagle would hunt in the late afternoon, leaving the nest unguarded for precious minutes. That was her chance. When the giant bird took flight, Kira moved fast. She threw her rope across the gap to the nest ledge, secured it around a boulder, and began crossing hand over hand. The wind was fierce, trying to tear her loose, but she held on. Jorik was weak but alive, huddled in the massive nest made of tree trunks and bones. "Kira," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. She quickly tied the rope around his waist. "Hold tight, little brother. We're going home." But as they began crossing back, the giant eagle returned early. It saw them immediately. 2 tiny humans stealing its prey. With a shriek that shook the mountains, it dove toward them. Kira made a desperate choice. She cut the rope, sending Jorik swinging safely to the far ledge, but leaving herself stranded in the nest. The eagle landed with a crash, talons scraping stone, eyes blazing with fury. This was it, the moment that would define her life, or end it. Kira pulled out her sling and began hurling stones at the giant bird's head. Most bounced off harmlessly, but one struck its eye. The eagle screamed and lunged forward with its deadly beak. Kira rolled aside, grabbed a burning branch she carried, and thrust it at the creature's face. Fire was something even giants feared. The eagle pulled back, confused, giving her seconds to act. From her pouch, she pulled her last weapon, a sharp obsidian blade her father had made. As the eagle lunged again, Kira drove the blade deep into its neck, just below the head. Black blood sprayed across the nest. The giant eagle thrashed wildly, nearly throwing Kira off the cliff. But the wound was mortal. After what felt like hours, the great bird shuddered and lay still. Exhausted, bleeding, but victorious. Kira used the eagle's own feathers to fashion a crude glider. It was insane. But it was her only way down. Taking a deep breath, she launched herself off the cliff. The flight was terrifying and brief. She crashed hard into the slope below, rolling down rocks and dirt. But she was alive. Jorik was safe. The giant eagle was dead. When she finally reached her parents, battered but triumphant, Torvin looked at her with new respect. "Today, you became a legend," he said. "The Eagle Slayer, the Sky Hunter." From that day forward, other clans would tell the story of Kira and the giant eagle. How one brave young woman faced the ruler of the skies and won. How love for family could overcome even the most impossible odds. And whenever children looked up at giant birds circling overhead, they would remember, humans may not have wings, but they have something more powerful: courage, cleverness, and the unbreakable bonds of family.
The giant eagle was gone, but Kira's legend would soar forever.